Oh, hi there! Welcome to another episode of the Okanagan Gardener and Forager channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about a medicinal plant, mullein. And I'm going to use mullein leaves 3 ways. One way, I'm going to take the fresh leaves and make a tea. Another way, I'm going to dry the leaves to make a tea. And the third way, I'm going to dry them and smoke them. Mullein's scientific name is Verbascum thapsus. I made a video some time ago more about identification, so if you're interested, then I'll put a link up here. But I'm using the leaves in this video, and the leaves you'd want to take from its first year of growth, which looks like this, growing in a basal rosette. The leaves of mullein have been used for treating respiratory conditions by moistening the mucous membranes of the lungs and increasing mucus flow to clear the lungs and sinuses. And tea from the leaves has been used to treat chest colds and dry raspy coughs, laryngitis, bronchitis, and asthma. And tea from the leaves has also been used to moisten dry and stiff joints, to improve flexibility and reduce pain. Part of the explanation may be that the leaves contain a large amount of mucilage, which has been shown to be anti-inflammatory. Some bugs have apparently been getting at my mullein plant, but I think I can still use the parts that haven't been bug bitten. So I had a few mullein plants growing in the yard, which I was excited about, because then I had a lot of confidence that they weren't going to be full of pesticides and toxins and such, but some bugs got at them, so they've been really chewed up. So that's frustrating, but I think I still have enough where I can get some decent leaves to use. And so a thing you can use the leaves for is smoking. Smoking mullein, inhaling the smoke, has been used to treat asthma or relieve asthma and spasmodic coughing, and also gently blowing the smoke into the ear has been used to relieve the pain from earaches, and the smoke has also been used to treat fevers. Now, that might sound incredible to some because of various reasons, but I'll suggest, and this is not health advice, but I will suggest that possibly growing or smoking mullein might be a little bit different than, smoking something that's been grown with all sorts of pesticides and has other preservatives and things in it. So there's that. Something else I'll say about mullein leaves. Mullein leaves are pretty strong, so to preserve them, what you can do is you can use a dehumidifier, because the leaves are strong enough to withstand the effects of the dehumidifier, whereas another way to dry them might be to put them on a sheet and leave them out for, say, 5 or 6 or 7 days to dry. Fortunately, I have found some more nicer mullein leaves to supplement my homegrown supply. Okay, I've got my mullein leaves cleaned and going into the dehydrator. They'll go in here on low. I'm not sure how long they'll take. We'll give it a shot. I'm drying them to use for tea later and for smoking. But now I'm going to make some tea out of the fresh leaves. So what I've got is, by weight, fresh leaves. There'll be 2 parts by weight to 32 parts water, or I guess 1 to 16. Boiling water. And we'll steep it for 15 minutes. "15 minutes are up, and I'm using this French press. It's got a little screen in there, and it should filter out some of maybe the little hairs, but because some people can have a reaction to the little hairs, so maybe you'd want to run it through a coffee filter or something like that. But I've had the tea before and it hasn't bothered me, so this will be enough filtering for me. And the rest, I'll just save. I made like 2 cups worth, so the rest I'll save in the fridge, have it cold for within 24 hours. Tastes fresh and, I don't know, leafy. Hard for me to describe. Okay, mullein leaves are out of the dehydrator. They took, well, I had them on probably too low of a setting. They took kind of, well, I guess it was about 8 or 10 hours. Then we turned up the heat a little bit, and then it really got going. So I think if the heat was at a little bit of a higher temperature, it might have only taken 6 to 8 hours. But it'll depend probably on what you've got. And you can tell they're ready because they become very brittle. Now they're ready to store. I'm just going to store them in mason jars. Now the second way I'm going to use mullein is with the dried leaves. The dried leaves, I'm taking them, and there's a whole bunch of different recipes for how to use them, depending on what, I think it's up to you really. What I did is I'm just taking, because I'm making about 2 cups, so I've got, what I measured out was 3 tablespoons of the dried leaves, and I'm just putting them in my French press with boiling water. And it's tea, so really, like, you can kind of just make it how you want it. And we've got the boiling water. And I'm going to let it steep for 5 minutes. You could probably do longer for stronger, maybe 15 minutes, but probably like with all tea, it might start to taste a little bitter. So I'm going to leave it in for 5 minutes. And I'm using the French press because it has a strainer in it, and the little hairs in the mullein can irritate some people when they drink it. It doesn't really bother me, at least it hasn't so far. So another thing, if you didn't have the French press, is you could run through coffee filter. 5 minutes are up. I made 2 cups, that's why I had 3 tablespoons. And the rest I'll save in the fridge for 24 hours. Yes. Now the dried mullein leaves taste test. Adam changed his mind. He didn't want to have. He didn't want to try the tea. I think it's because I didn't add any maple syrup to it. So maybe he was more interested in the maple syrup than the tea. Good. Tastes, I don't know, tastes like kind of the same. Just what you might think leaf tea might taste like, kind of fresh, herby, I guess. I don't know. And when I, from memory, compare it to the fresh leaf tea, it tastes a little more like, say, like a black tea might taste, but still good and fresh. Now to try the one more way to try mullein, smoking it. Now for my third way to use mullein, smoking it. What I've got is mullein. And I've got a pipe, and I'm just going to use the mullein leaves with nothing else. Mullein is apparently often used in herbal smoking blends, and sometimes making up maybe 50% mixed with other things. I don't know. I mean, I haven't done it myself. So I think some other things could be like, say, mint or sage, things like that. And I'm using a pipe, but you could roll it or whatever. And the idea is that smoking the mullein would help get the mucus or whatever in your lungs moving and cough things out to help clear up whatever congestion there might be in the lungs. So let's give it a shot. Technical difficulties. I don't know. Tastes like something burning, I guess. I don't know. Tastes, I don't know. Compared to tobacco, I think it tastes less strong. Earlier, I talked about using just the leaves from the first year of the basal rosette, but you can use second year. Some people take it from the flowering stalks. Just that the leaves shouldn't be all dried up when you try to use them. All right, so smoking mullein. That's 3 ways. 3 ways to use mullein: fresh leaf tea, dry leaf tea, and smoking it. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Maybe leave a comment. Are there any other ways that you use mullein, or have you smoked it? Do you like it? What do you mix with your mullein? And maybe consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.